Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at the first in what I hope is going to be a pretty interesting series where I'm going to go through team guides for every single team that's on FIFA and playing in Euro 2020 or 2021 depending on what you want to call it. So this is something I'm actually going to need your guys' help for. Obviously I'm English, so I know a decent amount about the England national team. But there's some nations out there I don't really have a clue about. So if you're from a nation and it's playing in Euro 2020, please check out my Discord and send me a message because I need to get your feedback to make these accurate and a bit more interesting, you know? I'm sure you know some background to players and different tournaments, and that'd be interesting for everyone to find out about. So after you watch the video, make sure to check out the Discord that's in the description below. But now we're going to be beginning with England, as I mentioned before. This is my home nation, and also the home nation of football in general. The semi-finals and the finals are all being held in Wembley, so there's actually quite a lot of pressure on the England national team this year. People are thinking one of two things. This will either be the tournament where England flop, Southgate leaves and we get a better manager, or it's the tournament where England shine and it's a real preparation for winning the World Cup next year for the second time. England are definitely one of the favourites, and if you look at the squad, you could be able to tell that straight away. They have two of the best strikers on the game in Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy, but unfortunately Jamie Vardy has retired from national team football. Behind them, they have Raheem Sterling, you know, Jadon Sancho's got potential to be really good, so's Trent, Rashford, Foden. They're all going to be elite level talents. But it's almost impossible for England to get all of these on the pitch at once. So what is a likely team going to look like in the actual competition? So, starting from back to forwards with the goalkeeping position. This is probably one of the weakest spots in the England team, but this is actually worse than it looks because Nick Pope is out for the tournament. So that's the first choice gone, meaning Dean Henderson or Jordan Pickford will be in goal for England. Now both of these goalkeepers actually have their pros and cons, you know, their critics and their admirers. I've personally gone for Pickford and my brother would have gone for Henderson. So this is the kind of debate that's in England at the moment, who's actually the better goalkeeper. FIFA wise, I think Henderson has the height, but Pickford has the better reflexes and agility, so it depends on the kind of shots that you think you're going to be facing. If England's defence plays with a low block, then you're going to want the agility, but if they play higher up the pitch, you're probably going to want someone who's a bit better at shot stopping in one-on-one situations, which Henderson definitely is. So that's goalkeeper out the way. You'll have one of Pickford or Henderson in goal. Now the back four. Me and my brother have actually gone for very similar back fours here as well. Stones and Maguire, if they can get fit in time, would be our starting centre backs. Shaw at left back is the case for both of us. So I think they're pretty much set, and that's the most popular choices for all England fans, to be honest. But right back, there's a bit of debate who you could pick. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back for England on FIFA, but Kyle Walker's probably the most effective on FIFA. Personally, I went for Walker because I think the pace is more important to get back because Stones and Maguire are a bit slow. But my brother went for Alexander-Arnold just because of his increased output in attack. Outside of Maguire and Stones, you're probably looking at someone like Joe Gomez on FIFA to be playing there, because, you know, a Michael Keane or a Tarkowski probably isn't going to be any good. So it's definitely a weakness in the England squad, the centre-back position. You can see we don't even have a lot of potential coming through in this position if I put that on screen now. Compared to right-back, which the average potential is 86, our centre-back average potential is 81. Left-back also pretty weak, but Shaw is more than adequate in that position at the moment. So, you've got your goalkeeper of Henderson or Pickford, you have your right back of Arnold or Walker, or you could even put Trippier or Aaron Wan-Bissaka in there. You've got your centre backs of Maguire and Stones, and you've got your left back of Luke Shaw. We're going to be going to a 4-2-3-1 formation for this because I think it's probably the most effective for the players that England have. So now we need to have two players that can anchor the midfield. The obvious choices here are Declan Rice and Jordan Henderson, but depending on who England are playing, you could probably even play someone like Mason Mount here just to have a bit more work rate and a bit more attacking quality on the ball. This would absolutely be shoehorning him into the team just to get him in there, but I think he'd be good enough. He's got decent defensive work rates, and he'd be able to get the ball, bring it forwards, and then pass it to one of your more attacking players. Speaking of which, we're going to be going through the three attacking midfielders right now. So this is definitely England's strength, the attacking midfield and the wingers. Through the middle, you'll likely want someone like Foden or Grealish, maybe Mount. Maddison could have gone if he wasn't injured for so long. You know, Dele Alli had the potential to be right up there too. And on the wings, you've got Raheem, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford. Even you've got players like Harvey Barnes, Bukayo Saka, Mason Greenwood. they all could play on the wing pretty well, and I think it's going to be quite a struggle to get some players into this position. I think, honestly, me and my brother both picked Jadon Sancho on the right and Raheem on the left. But it's a toss-up on how you want England to play, because of course Jack Grealish is a very different player to a Raheem Sterling or a Marcus Rashford. So it might be more effective to have someone like Foden in the middle, Grealish on the left, and then Sancho on the right. But going purely from FIFA, you're going to 100% want Marcus Rashford or Raheem Sterling playing on the left. Grealish is a bit too slow, and then if you're going into like a Harvey Barnes or a Bukayo Saka, you're just going to have not enough ability on the ball compared to these better players. On the right, the only real choice is actually Jadon Sancho. He's just by far and away the best right winger that England have. In a couple of seasons, I can definitely see Mason Greenwood challenging him for this position, but he's definitely not there yet. Sancho is by far one of the best young right wingers in the world, and I think England should absolutely be using him at every single occasion. So to top off the team, of course you need a striker, and really there's only one choice because Vardy is internationally retired, and that's Harry Kane. Of course he had a few ankle injuries this season, and he looks like he's back and fit and ready for the Euros though. I think since I was born, Harry Kane is probably the best England striker. I'd put him above Michael Owen just because of his injury record being way better than Owen's. And I'd put him above Rooney just because, despite his output being very similar, I think Harry Kane will eventually go on and break the goal scoring record by quite a few goals. Although having someone in the England squad like Rooney or Owen to supplement Harry Kane, even if you put Rooney at attacking midfield, I think that would make the England squad a lot stronger. England don't really have a player with that kind of tenacity and long-range shooting, and he's got a decent pass as well, Rooney, so would definitely fit into the squad now, behind a Harry Kane and in between a Sterling, Rashford and Sancho. So, who are the other options at striker? Well, as I mentioned before, Jamie Vardy's retired, so unfortunately we're discounting him, despite him being so highly rated. Danny Ings is next, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Callum Wilson, Michail Antonio, Patrick Bamford had a really good season too, Tammy Abraham, Ollie Watkins, and I think Ollie Watkins will make the squad despite being one of the worst strikers in this selection that I have. You've got some okay talents, they're all very different. Of course, Ollie Watkins is really good at the high press, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is really good in the air, Patrick Bamford's probably the most similar to Kane. So you do have quite a lot of options of players that you can put up front, but every single time they can, Harry Kane is definitely going to be playing up front. You can't put any other striker ahead of him. Even if he's slightly injured, I can see him starting over someone like a Danny Ings or an Ollie Watkins. I think the only way Harry Kane won't end up as top scorer in the whole competition will be if the media speculation on his future, if he's going to Man United or Man City, comes out and really puts a lot of pressure on him. I mean, you can definitely see that happening. The English media does have a bit of a habit of putting way too much pressure on our players at really inopportune times. So, you never know. Harry Kane could absolutely crumble under every single fan in England suddenly hating him for abandoning Tottenham. But anyway, that is my opinion-based version of the squad sorted. And I'll also put my brother's version of the squad on the screen too. You can see we actually chose different formations. I went with the Bellingham in midfield and sacrificing Foden at attacking midfield. It says he put Rice on the right wing, but that's just a little bit of a glitch on the Sky Sports app. And, it's two different ways you can play. Bellingham, Rice and Mount is a lot more attacking than Henderson, Rice and Foden in my opinion. So against some of the smaller nations, I could definitely see this happening. Personally, I think Bellingham will be starting for England by the time England finish the group stage, because he's on such good form at the minute for Borussia Dortmund, and I think he will outshine pretty much every player, even if he's only coming on as a sub appearance, after 70 minutes. He's a player I've seen in real life, obviously, watching the Championship quite a lot, and even when he was like 15, 16, when he was breaking through, he was head and shoulders above players that, semi-famous players that Forest had, like Henry Lansbury. He absolutely got obliterated by Bellingham. So if he's carried on his progression at anything like that level, I'll be honest, I haven't seen him play for like a couple of months now, but he's definitely going to have enough talent to get in the England squad, I think. If you're an England fan, or if you know a lot about England, please feel free to comment your team in the description, or I'll put the Sky Sports team guide creator thing, and you can send me it on Twitter or on my Discord, or just, put it on Imgur and link it in the comments below, and I'll have a look at it, and maybe we'll do another video on your guys' opinions of which England player should be in which position. If you feel like watching more videos on, Euro 2021 teams, then please consider subscribing, and I'll try and put 1 or 2 of these videos out each week until we get to the tournament itself. It's not very far away, so maybe I'll have to up the frequency if I want to get every single one of these done before the finals, but I'm going to try and do that anyway. Like the video if you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which will hopefully be very soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.